This is the summary for Lesson 12, Solutions to Linear Equations. So they start off with the statement that you have rectangles, a whole bunch of rectangles whose perimeters are all 8 units. And if you take x and use x to represent the length, now I switched the width and the length. So I'm going to use x to represent the length. It's just because I just tend to think of the horizontal side as being the length and the vertical side as being the width. That's really the only reason I changed it. Also, well, actually with the graph, it makes sense that the length is along the x-axis and the width is along the y-axis. So we'll look at that in a moment. But if x represents the length and y represents the width, then 2x plus 2y equals 8. So if you start here at 0, 0, so this is going to be the origin on a graph. If I go out x units, and if I go up y units, I'm going to end up at this vertex up here. And if I connect them and create a rectangle, then the total perimeter, the length around this rectangle, the perimeter, is going to be 2 lengths of x, 2 lengths of y. So 2x plus 2y is going to equal 8 units. So we're saying, we're putting that constraint. They will equal 8 units. Likewise, if I drew this rectangle, this is x along this side, y along this vertical side. So 2 of these lengths plus 2 of these widths are going to add to the perimeter, which is going to equal 8 units. So let's put some numbers in there and see what happens. So if we use 1 for the length and 3 for the width, so 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6, 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. So that works. So the perimeter of this rectangle is 8 units, and let's say instead of 1 and 3, we use 2 and 3/4 and 1 and 1/4. So let's say that this is 2 and 3/4 lengths, and this is 1 and 1/4 width. Well, 2 times 2 and 75/100 is equal to 2 and 3/4 is equal to 5 1/2, and 2 times 1 1/4 is equal to 2 1/2. Add those together, and you get a sum of 8 units. 2 1/2 plus 5 1/2 equals 8. So that perimeter around this rectangle is going to equal 8 units. So the solution to an equation with 2 variables, x and y, is a pair of values. This is a coordinate pair, an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. So that's why they call this a pair of values, x and y, that make the equation true. So let's look at this in more detail. So here are the 2 points that we just looked at, 1, 3. So this was a length of 1 and a width of 3, and a length of 2 and 3/4, and a width of 1 and 1/4. And it says right here that here is a line created by all the points that are solutions to this equation. If you double the length and you double the width, you get a perimeter of 8 units. So here are the 2 rectangles that they're talking about. So if you double the length, 2 times 1 is 2, and double the width, 2 times 3 is 6, this perimeter is 8 units. And likewise, this perimeter down here is 8 units because you double this length and you double this width, add them together, you get a perimeter of 8 units. They go on to say that all the points not on this line are not solutions. But we're going to look at a few more examples of points on this line. So let's look at that. So here's a couple of other points. So now what this is saying is that I can select any point on this line that I want. And if I double the length and if I double the width, so I take the x-coordinate and double it, and I take the y-coordinate and double it, add those together, I will get an answer of 8 units. Every single point on this line gives you a rectangle that has a perimeter of 8 units. So if you go through the math, I'm going to look at the figures in just a minute, but if you go through the math, 2 times 3/4 plus 2 times 3 and 1/4, get 6/4 plus 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 1/4 is 2/4, add everything together, and you get an answer of 8. I'm going to leave it to you to do the same kind of thing down here. So 2 times 3 4/5, 2 times 3 4/5. Think about how you get 6 8/5 from that. 2 times 1/5, add them together, and you get an answer of 8. So leave that to you to go through the arithmetic of how you get an answer of 8. Now let's say that we draw a square. So the length and the width are equal. They're both equal to 2 units. That's going to put the point right here on the line. And then you can just count. You don't have to do any arithmetic or anything. Just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that perimeter is 8 units for the point 2, 2. So this point satisfies or is a solution to this equation, 2x plus 2y equals 8. So replace x with 2, replace y with 2. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8. All right, so let's look at what's going on with all of these rectangles. Now notice that that one vertex of the rectangle is placed at the origin, and the opposite vertex along the diagonal is placed on the line. And then we're going to just draw this line, or this line is already drawn for you, that has all of those points on it. Let's look at these one at a time. So this rectangle, so it's 3/4 and 3 1/4. We just did the arithmetic, but if you double the lengths, 2 times the lengths, and if you double the widths plus 2 times the width, add them all together, you're going to get an answer of 8 units. We just did that. This is the one we started with. So if you double the lengths, 2 times 1 is 2, double the widths, 2 times 3 is 6, add them together, you're going to get an answer of 8 units. So these points are all solutions to this equation right here. The next one, this is the square. Double the length, 2 times 2 is 4, double the width, 2 times 2 is 4, add them together, you get an answer of 8 units. So again, this point, since it's on this line, which is the line for this equation, it's the graph of this equation, draw a rectangle, put one vertex on the line, the other vertex at the origin, draw that rectangle, and you will get a perimeter of 8 units. Next one. Double the lengths, double the widths. So we did this one already. That perimeter is going to equal 8 units. And the last one, double the lengths. So 2 times 3 4/5, double the widths, 2 times 1/5, add them all together, and you get a perimeter of 8 units. So again, these are all coordinate pairs. These are defined points that are on this line, and any point on this line will satisfy this equation. Draw a rectangle, you will get a perimeter of 8 units. When the rectangle begins at 0, 0, one vertex or one corner is at 0, 0, and the diagonal, draw a line through the center to the opposite vertex. That point is on the line, then you have a perimeter of 8 units.